welcome to the engineering course provided by English Solutions for Business and Life. Okay, so this is going to be a really interesting course. Of course, it's from our engineering book, and we're going to be covering Unit 1, which is called What's Engineering? Okay, we will not actually go through the definition of engineering. You probably know it already. However, this series of videos will be about vocabulary most of the time. So in some cases, I'm going to give you examples. In some cases, I'm going to show you some pictures or shapes of the vocabulary that you will find in the book. If you ever need further explanation of each of the words, don't forget to ask your teacher in class. Okay, well, today's lesson is pretty much about the following, which is getting started with basic vocabulary. Of course, this is not all the basic vocabulary for engineering, but this is a good start, and in order more like an introduction to what how the videos will be made, and you can also make some comments to the director on things that we can improve on. Okay, so most of the times also I will focus more on the pronunciation rather than the definition. Of course, I will explain most of the times, but remember that this is mostly about the pronunciation of the words. Okay, so please repeat after me. Machine, machine. Inspect, inspect. Design, design. Mathematics, mathematics. Develop, develop. Technology, technology. Physics, physics. Discipline, discipline. Okay, now for each word I created an example, and I'm gonna explain it further if necessary. Got it? Okay, a machine. What is a machine? Is nothing but a device or a big device that has mechanical or electronic parts in it. And for example, giving maintenance to all machines is critical for the production department. So what does this mean? That if my machine does not work well, I cannot produce. And that's why it's critical. Critical meaning very important. Alright, the next example, design, which is to create a model or a draft of it can be a product, it can be a new device, it can be many things. For example, my boss didn't really like, oh, there's a mistake there. That should be it. My boss didn't like my design. He says it's uncreative and simple. Okay, so designs normally have different descriptions or features. One of them is it creative? Is it simple or out of the ordinary? So, alright, I hope that did it. The next one is inspect, which means to look, to check on certain things, some standards, making sure that the standards are met or the standards are being followed. For example, I really don't like inspecting my coworkers, but it's part of my job. So let's imagine that I am a manager at my company, and my coworkers are not my employees, but people that I need to be looking after. So inspecting them, making sure that their job is being done well, is something that I don't really like. Why? Because there's normally in the companies, we don't always like being inspected, being checked all the time. Next example, engineering. Well, you know, engineering is the career you decided to take, and I'm very happy for you. So number one example, I decided to study engineering over other degrees because I love numbers and physics. Okay, so this is not always, and it doesn't apply to all engineers, but many of them love technology, numbers, physics, and that's why they decide to pick up an engineering career. Next example, physics. Well, physics is, as you know, the science that refers to movement, force, and how things actually work in the world. Now, physics can be tough if you don't like numbers. Yeah, it's a possibility because numbers are very common in this science. However, one more thing that I would like to mention, don't forget that the PH in English is most of the times pronounced as an F in Spanish. So don't forget that, it's quite simple. Next, discipline. In order to do well in college, you must do everything with discipline. Well, pretty much like it said in Spanish, discipline is an attitude that you take toward certain things or toward life. It means to arrive on time, to do everything that you have to do on time, to be well organized, and do it well. That's pretty much what discipline is. The next example, develop. Very good word, very common too. To develop is to create, to design. We can be talking about a product. We can be talking about a project, etc. For example, my department is in charge of developing new products and upgrades. So we can be in the development department, and we create, we make things. The last one, which is technology, which then again very similar to the word in Spanish. Don't forget that many of the times the ch is not a ch sound, but a k sound, like a k or a c. So, example, our technology is falling behind compared to other companies. So, saying that other companies have invested money in bringing new stuff, and we are falling behind. We are starting to be obsolete. Okay, well, that would be it for now. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope these videos are useful for you, engineering student. And well, I'll see you around. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Hello engineering students, and welcome back to another video from English Solutions and Business and Life. In Business and Life. Okay, so this is about the engineering core series, and we will be talking about Unit 2, which is about shapes, something that you are very familiarized with. Today's lesson is pretty much about, I already said it, kind of repetitive, sorry about that. Okay, so this is going to be very simple. I'm not very familiarized with shapes myself, but I'm just gonna go over the spelling and the pronunciation, and hopefully I'll be able to pull off an explanation as well. So before anything, actually, because I would like to go to the tip before I finish. The tip has to be imitate, don't repeat. Okay, what does this mean? Most of the times when you are in class, you're asked to repeat a word. Okay, so everybody please repeat after me. Tip, etc., etc. So what you actually should be doing is imitate what the teacher is saying by imitating the intonation, imitating the accent, imitating the intention as well. Why? Because by imitating, we ensure that your pronunciation will be much better than if you just repeated. Yes. For example, let me give you quite a quick example. Okay, this will take just a minute. Let's say the word, well, let's say one of the ones we have here. Let's say, okay, quite an easy example. So if I say repeat, I love pizza. And you as a listener, you can just repeat in your own accent, I love pizza. Which is not bad, it has an accent. But if you really wanted to sound American or sound like a better English speaker, you would have to imitate everything and say, I love pizza. You can see, you can imitate the intention, you can imitate the pronunciation. And this is a very good tip that I always give my students. And I hope that you remember it. I will remind you of this tip later in the future, because I believe that it is one of the best tips I can give you as an English teacher when it comes to pronunciation. Okay, so let's go over this. You look at the shape and imitate. I will keep saying repeat. Why? Because it will sound funny or weird if I say imitate after me. Okay, so let's say circle. Circle. And well, there we have our shape right there. Next one, triangle. Triangle. Yes, let's not be lazy and pronounce it completely. Triangle. It's a word that many times we get wrong. Next one, ellipse. Ellipse. Well, I looked all over the internet. I'm not an expert, but this would be the ellipse. Let's imagine that this would be a full 3D circle or ball, and we have the distance between this point 1, all the way to point 1 again. That would be our ellipse. Let's move on to the next one. The next one is a prism. Prism. And prism is pretty much a shape that has a 3D form, has its angles, exact angles and all. I had to do some research myself, I have to be honest about it. The next one is rectangle. Rectangle. And as you know, it's a shape similar to a square, but it has, the measures are different from this point to this point. Has to be different, longer or shorter than from here to here. Okay, the next one is square. Square. And this shape has 4 sides. And of course, I'm not going to teach you geometry, sorry. But you know, just. And well, the tip of our day, and this was a very quick video actually. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget we talked about shapes today, and don't forget about that tip I gave you. It's quite important actually. Well, see you in our next video, and thank you for watching our videos from English Solutions for Business and Life. Bye-bye. Hello there, and welcome to another video from your favorite English school, which happens to be English Solutions for Business and Life. Today, this time around, we're going to check Unit 3 for your engineering course. And this time around, we'll be talking about materials. Once again, these videos should be brief, and they are only for reference. If you require more instruction, information, or examples from your teacher, you can always ask him or her in class. Let's begin. So once again, we will be talking about material. So material basically is something, a product, an object, or a machine is made of. We have something like this. We have, most of them are adjectives rather than nouns. I will be telling you exactly whether it's a noun or an adjective. So please repeat after me. Coated, coated, coated. So this one is the first one, and it is an adjective. something coated. I will explain each word later on with an example. So right now let's focus on the pronunciation. The second one is reinforced, reinforced, reinforced. And reinforced is also an adjective. Let's move on to the next one, which is tile, tile, tile. And tile can be, well, most of the times it's noun. It is a noun or the name of something rather than the description of something. We also have ceramic, 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 and this is a very probably a very familiar word to you, a word that we know of. It's very similar in Spanish as well. We also have textured, textured, textured. I'll be explaining a little bit more about this. Textured is an adjective. The next one would be steel, steel, steel. And don't confuse this with the verb when it to take something that is not yours without permission. Steel is a noun, and it refers, well, it's metal pretty much. But I will give you an example later on. The last one is glass, glass, glass. And this time around, it can be an adjective or noun depending on the situation. Let's look at the examples here. So coated means covered by some type of material, something that is surrounding another material. For example, HDMI connectors are normally coated in gold to improve image quality. This means that it has metal in the connector, but you will have also another material covering it. And in this case, with the HDMI connector, is to improve image quality, to clear the noise from the image. The next one is reinforced, and it means made stronger by some type of material. So this is one more time, we have a material and we make it stronger by adding another material. For example, these cases are reinforced with metal to make it more resistant to impact. We can talk about iPhone cases or Android phone cases. They use metal to make the material more resistant to impact. So when you drop your phone, it doesn't break so easily. The next one is tile, and this is a material that often covers walls or floors, normally found in bathrooms. You will also find tile in kitchens. Oh, kitchens, kitchen. Alright, so example, we decided to use tile in the main bathroom for the house. So we decided to use this white material. Well, it's normally white. I don't think there's anything else to explain here. Let's move on to the next one. Ceramic. Well, ceramic is a solid but breakable material made for materials such as clay. Or you can find this a lot in Mexican crafts or artistic artistic works. For example, a lot of Mexican pottery crafts use ceramic. Yeah, you go downtown and you will find a lot of crafts made of ceramic. Let's move on to the next one. Textured, which means having details added to a surface. So you have a normal surface. It can be metal, it can be wood, it can be plastic. But if we have some details added, something coming up, sticking out from the surface. For example, most footwear have textured soles in order to reduce fall risks. Yes, notice that most of shoes do not have a flat sole. They normally have a textured surface in order to prevent people from falling. Let's move on to the next one. Steel, and steel is a strong material made mostly from iron. Well, the steel, we know it's metal. It is a metal. Example, steel-made phone cases are way more resistant than plastic ones. This is the exact example we set up earlier. If it has metal, it means that it's more resistant than plastic. Let's move on to the next one. Glass. This is the final word before we say goodbye. And glass, as you know, is solid, transparent material used in windows. I don't think I have to explain myself here. Very common word, but it's also a material. Example, glass-made walls will make your office more professional. Will actually not make them more professional. It will make them look, or make it look more professional. This is a very new thing. People are getting glass walls more frequently, and that makes the office look more professional, more serious, so to speak. All right, so well, thank you very much for watching, and I am Emmanuel Cruz, and I'm at your service. Whenever you need assistance with videos, please refer to Mr. Adrian, the director of the school. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.